Reddit, what is your most disturbing, scary, or creepy real story? A few years ago, I was walking through the woods off the beaten track a bit, and I smelt this really overpowering sweet smell. Being nosy, I pulled back the undergrowth to have a look and found a dead body. The guy had clearly been there a while and wasn't looking great, all swollen and green and black with various runny bits. The local wildlife had also been dining well for a few days. I called the police, who told me to wait with the body until they arrived. Being in the middle of nowhere, it took a while for them to arrive, and it got dark, and I was just sat there in the dark with him for a long time. It turned out he had committed suicide. For a long time afterwards, I had dreams about him, and he would talk to me, and not nice things. Mainly about how he was angry I had disturbed his resting place, and he wanted me to kill myself. Probably just my imagination, but all pretty disturbing at the time. He still turns up in my dreams from time to time, and no doubt will be tonight after typing this. r/ask Reddit. What is a sound that people should know means immediate danger? Sudden electrical hum/buzz outdoors from otherwise quiet power infrastructure. In an instant, something nearby is probably going to be struck by lightning. Quiet, calm, and polite. Everyone please stay exactly where you are. From someone in the lab, if you hear a woman screaming in the woods, it's probably a bobcat. Steel structures may moan and creak, but they should never pop or bang. If you hear steel making sounds like someone is hitting it with a hammer, you should probably get out from underneath it. Also, any rotating equipment, like motors or engines, should never change speed unexpectedly. It may change load, sounding like it's working harder, but change in speed without a change in load means something is going wrong, like the motor is seizing. That's a take 10 steps back moment. The real scary moment happened when you hear a motor have an unexpected increase in load, accompanied with a decrease in speed, meaning the motor is significantly overloaded. That's a runaway moment because something in the system is about to let go and will take you with it. r/ask Reddit. What is a medical fact that sounds fake but is 100% true? Nobody has mentioned the one that always shows up on these threads. When doctors operate on intestinal stuff, they just jam everything back in. The intestines writhe and wiggle around by themselves until they are back into place correctly. Extremely rarely during chest compressions, a patient can regain consciousness, only to lose consciousness as soon as the compressions stop. It's due to good perfusion from high-quality compressions. So imagine you're doing CPR, your patient starts clawing at your arms and trying to verbalize, but you have no choice but to keep going. May I never encounter this situation. Your brain can literally convince your body it's sick just because it's bored and anxious. When you get a kidney transplant, they leave the old one in there and stick the new one in your pelvis. There are people walking around with 3 or 4 kidneys. r/ask Reddit. If you died and could see a leaderboard for your life, what's the first stat you'd want to check? How many times I almost died without knowing it? How many times I've been the topic of someone else's conversation? Lives lost and saved due to my actions? How many people saw me naked? How many miles I've walked while pacing around my house talking to myself? I smoked cigarettes for about 15 years. Seeing a count would be interesting. Cups of coffee, hours on the toilet. How many hours I spent staring at the fridge while not being hungry at all? r/stories. My girlfriend's ultimate betrayal, how I found out she was cheating with 4 guys. So yeah, I never thought I'd be posting here, but man, I need to get this off my chest. Been with my girl for 3 years and was legit saving for a ring and everything. Then her phone starts blowing up at 2 a.m. like every night. She's all, it's just work stuff, but like, at 2 a.m., come on. I know everyone says don't go through your partner's phone, but whatever, I did it anyway, and holy crap, my life just exploded right there. Wasn't just one dude, 4 different guys. All these separate convos with pics I never want to see again, them planning hookups, and worst part, they were all joking about me. One was literally my best friend since we were kids. Another was her boss, classic, our freaking neighbor from down the hall, and that gay friend she was always hanging out with, who, surprise, surprise, wasn't actually gay. This had been going on for like 8 months while I'm working double shifts to save for our future and stuff. When I finally confronted her, I thought she'd at least try to deny it or cry or something. Nope. She straight up laughed and was like, Took you long enough to figure it out. Said I was too predictable, and she was bored. My so-called best friend texted later saying, it wasn't personal, and these things happen. Like, what the fuck, man? I just grabbed my stuff that night while she went out to clear her head, which probably meant hooking up with one of them, TBH. It's been like 2 months now. Moved to a different city, blocked all their asses, started therapy because I was messed up. Then yesterday she calls from some random number crying about how she made a huge mistake. Turns out, boss dude fired her after getting what he wanted, neighbor moved away, my ex-friend got busted by his girlfriend, and the gay friend ghosted her once he got bored. She had the nerve to ask if we could work things out. I just laughed and hung up. Some things you just can't fix, and finding out your girlfriend's been living a whole secret life with 4 other dudes, yeah, that's definitely one of them. My family treated me like trash for 30 years, until they saw my $12.4 million bank balance at Thanksgiving. I watched security drag my mother out of my office while she screamed I was ungrateful. It's a brutal lesson in how family can become enemies when money is involved. How did I go from being kicked out for sneezing too loud to holding all the cards? It started when I was 8. When my sister Rachel was born, an invisible wall went up. If I coughed, I was shipped to grandma's so I wouldn't contaminate her. I got perfect SAT scores, but mom didn't care. I was a ghost in a house with only 1 star. While they celebrated Rachel's average life, I built a jewelry authentication firm. I found Cartier necklaces worth millions while they thought I was a poverty case. I even sent them $7,000 every month anonymously to keep them afloat. They thought it was a miracle. I let them believe it. Last Thanksgiving, Rachel snatched my laptop to humiliate me. She flipped the screen to 20 people, expecting a failure. Instead, the room went dead silent. The screen showed an account balance of $12.4 million. My mother stood up and screamed, "You have millions and you let us struggle?" The aftermath was a hurricane of greed. They demanded a $2 million trust fund and a beach house. They showed up at my office telling me I owed them. I looked at the mother who shipped me away and the sister who spent my donations on fakes. I took my phone and canceled every single monthly transfer right there. For those asking for the full cinematic details and the receipts of the office confrontation, I've put the visual breakdown on my profile link. Thank you for supporting the truth at the Story Cipher.
Ask Reddit. What moment made you realize, yeah, my childhood wasn't normal? I went to a friend's house. Her parents were arguing, not like angry yet, but upset. She was totally fine, not on edge at all, and I was shaking. I went to sit at the stairs to listen, and when I told her it was in case it got too bad and we had to run or step in, she had no idea why I would say that. She went downstairs and quietly told them they were scaring me, so they came and sat with me to explain why they were arguing and that I didn't need to be afraid. We talked about my parents and how any fight usually meant we have to run or get between mom and dad, and that's why no one ever came over. Her parents are the best. They have a room that's all mine when I come over, even if it's just for dinner. They never argue in front of me or my friend anymore. Instead, they calmly discuss the situation and come to a solution almost immediately. They always take care of me. I realized a normal childhood is feeling loved and cared for, not jumping between 2 adults afraid one of them won't survive this fight. Probably the first time my brother, older than me by a year and a half, was removed from school property by police due to one of his violent outbursts and sent to a psychiatric hospital. Little shit was a legit monster. At home, he'd beat the shit out of our mom and I almost daily while my dad was at work. Pretty sure he even kicked the dog at least a few times, too. The best years of my life were when he went to live in a group home for 3 or 4 years, and I only saw him every other weekend. I remember talking to a roommate in college about something I did when I was little, and I said, it was when I was really young, like I still had the lock on my door on the outside. Her reaction was as if I said, as if I said my parents had the locks on the outside when I was a kid, so they could lock me in there as punishment, sometimes for days. I learned that day that that is not normal. Retards Stories. I'm related to my boyfriend. Just as the title says, I'm related to my boyfriend. I met my boyfriend on a dating app. We come from different cities and all that too. My dad is a genealogist on the side. He does it for fun. When I told him that me and my boyfriend were pretty serious, he looked him up, he found his family tree, and all that. A few days later, he came up to me with some papers, a bunch of handwritten notes and names. He straight up told me with a smile that my boyfriend and I were related. He laughed his ass off. I was genuinely shocked. Apparently, we share a common ancestor from like 1600, which I guess isn't a huge deal, but still crazy to me. What are the odds? Especially for it to have proof of it. I told my boyfriend and he was weirded out a little, but honestly, we didn't care. Still going strong 2 years later. I think it's hilarious now. He refuses to tell his family, though.
Am I overreacting that my fiancé keeps giving me punishment seizures? With that said, I, M23, have a fiancé, M23. We've been together for a bit over 2 years, engaged for one of those. I live with him half the time and at home with my family half the time. A month on, month off situation. It's a little unorthodox, but it works for us. My fiancé is a really great guy. He's compassionate and considerate. He helps around the house. He gets me very thoughtful gifts. He's got a sense of humor that matches mine really well. He's helped me so much with my mental health. 99% of the time we communicate excellently, and we've never had any serious arguments. The only real point of contention with us is this one joke. When I do something to annoy him, he'll get up and flip the light on and off really fast and chant, "Punishment seizure." I do not have epilepsy, so I am not at risk of having a seizure from this. But I do have chronic migraines, and one of my biggest triggers is bright or flashing lights, and he's aware of this. When he does it, I tell him to stop, and that he knows flashing lights trigger my migraines. I'm always able to close/cover my eyes before the flashing causes a migraine, so ultimately there's no harm done. But it's still very annoying, and I feel disrespected. He tells me that I'm overreacting because it hasn't actually caused any issues and it's just a joke. On one hand, I feel like he should stop doing it since I've asked multiple times. On the other, I'm not actually in any danger, nor has it actually caused a migraine. And he really is great in every other aspect. Am I overreacting, or should I put my foot down about this joke?
Are you tough for only caring about my parents' divorce because of money? I, 17M, was brought up in a pretty well-off family. My father is a pilot and my mom is a housewife. I don't have any siblings or other relatives I could rely on. Now, my parents' marriage was a bit of a mess for a long time. There's no abuse from what I know. It's just that my dad and mom aren't really compatible, which they found out even before I was born, but still decided to pursue the relationship and have a child. My dad is an alcoholic who doesn't really want to do anything, and my mom is a pretty strict and judgmental woman who is very active and wants to do all sorts of things with her family, as in me and Dad. This caused, and still causes, a lot of arguments about how they want to spend their free time. My father wants to drink all the time, and my mother wants to do anything but that. One night, my mother came into my room and warned me that she and Dad may divorce soon. I was pretty shocked, even though I knew about their differences in character. The people that promised me a good and easy life are taking their words back now, apparently. At least, that's how I interpreted that. These days, my mother keeps saying stuff like, "We'll pull through this together. You must get free scholarship, though." I don't know how hard it is for people in other countries, but here in Russia, getting a free scholarship to a university is pretty hard, but not impossible. Actually, getting it was, and still is, one of my plans. I just don't like how she is so insistent on that, like her whole life depends on it. I never liked expectations being placed on me, and now I feel like these expectations skyrocketed. The thing is that I don't care about these people at all. My dad was an asshole to me for the most part of my life, and didn't do anything except throw money at me. I just don't like my mom. It's like I have this irrational and completely unexplainable disdain for her that I kind of feel bad about having.
Am I overreacting? My BF made a joke about my sister's miscarriage. My sister miscarried today, and it was a really rough day. The results of gender came in 2 days ago, and we're supposed to do the gender reveal with just immediate family in 2 days. We found out today she miscarried a little baby girl. I naturally went to my boyfriend for comfort and honestly just support. I did not think it would backfire as much as it did. I called him once I got home, and I was just kind of overrun with emotion. I explained to him that we were supposed to do the gender reveal, and right when I was about to him what the gender was, he made a joke about the baby having no gender since it was dead, basically revealing the baby was dead at the gender reveal. Not sure if it makes sense since the moment Blur got to me. I was immediately upset asking him why he would say that, and he just awkwardly laughed. I was so upset I hung up the phone and just cried. He soon messaged me and said he was sorry, but it didn't make me feel better at all. I truly didn't want to talk to him. He said his reason for making the joke is because it's an uncomfortable situation for him. He admitted it was a dumb thing to say and he apologized. It's been on and off talking for the past 5 hours. Honestly, I was really hurt by what he said. So we had a sit-down conversation and we both reproached after having some time to ourselves. He apologized again but stated that he doesn't expect me to understand. Again, stating his reason for making the joke was a coping mechanism for a difficult conversation. I know it's a coping mechanism, and I'm not upset at him for that. I really am just upset because he didn't think before he spoke in a moment I really needed him. I then tried to get my feelings off my chest after letting him speak, and he just shut down. I told him that him making jokes regularly in these kinds of situations would be a problem for me, and we would have a real issue if said issue continued. Also told him that he needs to think about what he's going to say, especially in a situation or conversation like that. After I told him this, he immediately shut down and refused to talk to me. He said I was kicking him when he's already down, and there's no reason for what I said. He said I was deliberately trying to hurt him after he already apologized and took accountability. Now, am I overreacting? This is still very fresh for me since this has all unfolded in the past 5-ish hours. I'm not sure if I'm just still emotional or hurt, but genuinely, please tell me. Don't sugarcoat it, please, because I really need an outside perspective. Thank you for reading if you've gotten this far. AITA for not begging my mother to talk to me. Hi there. So last June, I moved out of my mom's house and into my bio-dad's house. I hadn't known him for long, but I was not being treated right at my mom's. Not important information, though. I had been speaking to her over the months and kept a decent relationship with her. However, early December, she decided that my cat, that was still at her house and she was not bothered by that, needed to be put down because he had a tumor on his back leg and couldn't walk well. This wasn't an issue, but she didn't tell me until after they had put him down and told me at school. About 2 weeks later, my grandma's dog, who I grew up with as well, needed to be euthanized because his health declined very fast. I was on the phone with her and she referred to my stepdad as dad. My father is a very protective person and he gets upset when he's not called dad because he did not choose to not be in my life. Him and my mom were both teenagers and her mom completely cut him off, and mom wouldn't even properly fill out the forms until Medicaid threatened to take away my insurance if she didn't tell them who the dad was. But my dad ended up saying that she was speaking with my dad, and she got so mad and handed the phone to my stepdad, who ended up talking with us and saying I could meet them at the vet where the dog was going. After I hung up, my mom texted me and said that if my dad was going to act like that, I didn't need to go to the vet to say bye to the dog. At this point, I was fed up and told her I was going to go say bye to that dog, and it's not her dog to tell me I can't see. It ended up just being my grandma and my stepdad at the vet, and I told the dog bye. My dad ended up sending her a long text telling her that it seems like every opportunity she has to hurt me, she takes it. She does, not even being dramatic. Now it's been over a month since I've spoken to my mom. I had a major surgery she knew about that she did not even speak to me after. She had even promised to help me during my recovery, but it's just been me, my dad, and my neighbor. I also went back to school the other day. She works in the library, and I've been in there twice, and she won't even look at me, even when I talk to her coworkers. Now my other grandma is telling me that she's my only mom, and I need to talk to her. My thing is I'm 17, I'm a child. I shouldn't be responsible for maintaining and healing that relationship. I'm also not the one who she should be mad at. In my opinion, I shouldn't be having to beg an adult woman to talk to me when obviously she doesn't want to. I haven't blocked her, she still stalks my social media pages, but she won't interact or talk to me or even look at me. AITA. I don't know what to do. It's been the most peaceful month ever though.